is actually one of the sessions that we are going to try to put the perspective of different professional in a specific case from the point of view real estate agent, mortgage broker, and insurance. So what we're talking about today is about one specific case that myself, I'm actually going to introduce myself as Sladjan Mitojevic. I'm a chartered insurance broker, and I'm the mortgage broker with the lending that is just behind. And this is.
Thank you. I'm Steve Garai, real estate broker. By the way, Sladjan, we're real estate brokers now here in Quebec since some time. We're no longer called agents. We're a special province here.
Yeah, that's right. So actually, yes, unique is specific.
That's right.
And so what we are talking about, we are talking about a specific case that the client, he has to cope with different professionals. And in this case, the client, his intention was to buy the property and to sell the property and to buy the one outside of Quebec. And at the same time, because he didn't consider actually the mortgage issue, because there's a specific product that you can use, it means refinancing. Then you can refinance the property in liquid funds and have sufficient funds for the down payment. So there was actually the role of the real estate agent in this case, the mortgage broker, that he did his proposal, and finally it appears that the both failed. Why? And what we actually discovered in this case was the point of view of insurance companies. Shortly, in this specific case, it was actually the older house that was not complied with furnace and electrical wiring, and this is the both of them is actually giving an indication that there's actually something in this case. And if the client is going to try to get a national carriers that is going to insure the both properties, but because the insurance company, in order to comply, you need the owner occupied and rented property insured together, or just actually keep insurance for the rented property in Quebec by changing insurance company, you're going to encounter the experience of having inspection by changing insurance company. So what actually the bottom line is that the client has the problem because it was not compliance with actually regulation that is now in force. So instead of just easily do the transaction by actually doing the refinancing, he's now put back his actually the process by selling the property, because refinance and getting the two property instead of one property, getting the two property, one that will be rented and one that is going to be bought by refinancing was not possible. So we come back and we actually reuse the real estate agent by selling the property in Quebec and would buy and actually giving the mandate to someone else that is going to provide him the service to buy the property in under promise.
So in other words, the seller could not refinance the property. The insurance company would not allow him to do so because his heating and his electrical wiring did not comply with code because it was an older property.
Yes.
And his only other option would have been to bring the property up to a certain compliance level, which would have necessitated a whole bunch of investment, which the client didn't expect, that is, the seller didn't expect to do.
Yes, exactly.
And then the other issue that you brought up is the particularity of the damage insurance carrier, in that originally it was a Quebec-based insurance company.
That's exactly right.
And the seller wanted to refinance the property so he could buy something outside of Quebec. And given that the damage insurance company was provincial, they could not do it unless they obviously can't insure a property outside of Quebec. So he had to switch insurance companies to a national carrier. So in other words, there's a whole bunch of, there's like a cascading effect here. And I suppose in concluding our episode here, the lesson from this is that not only must the real estate broker be astute enough to ask good questions from the very beginning to try and determine what the objective is of the buyer, or rather of the buyer of the property. Does he plan to refinance at one point? Does he or she plan on buying another property outside of the province of Quebec? And if so, the damage insurance firm must be properly evaluated.